Breaking. Royal guards were ordered to block Queen Camilla from entering key areas of Buckingham Palace by command from palace higher-ups. The Queen Consort, stunned, was denied access to her usual royal spaces. Why? Because hours earlier, a disturbing discovery was made at one of her private estates. A hidden vault, secret documents, encrypted ledgers, and something so explosive it triggered an immediate royal lockdown. Guards didn't hesitate. Orders were clear. Stop Camilla. No exceptions. Guards ordered to block Camilla after disturbing discovery. It began with a late-night directive, urgent, unannounced, and deeply unusual. A top-level classified order was issued to royal security. Intercept Queen Camilla at all palace access points. Not delay. Not question. Block. The command didn't come from her personal protection officers. It came from upper palace command. A rare and serious move typically reserved for matters of national security or internal threats. The language was blunt. No discretion. No negotiation. Full compliance. Every guard was ordered to maintain position, no matter who challenged it. Within the hour, the tone of Buckingham Palace shifted from routine to sheer tension. Lights in secured wings remained on long past midnight. Corridors were quiet, but not calm. Staff exchanged whispers, avoided eye contact, and began moving differently, faster, more alert. The Queen Consort's usual path through the palace was abruptly altered. Camilla herself, returning from an off-site engagement, was reportedly stopped at the entrance to the Lancaster Wing, a highly secure area used for internal briefings and archival storage. Her security clearance, normally automatic, was revoked without warning. She was stunned. According to palace insiders, her motorcade paused for almost 10 full minutes as aides scrambled for answers. But the guards, positioned rigidly under direct command, refused to stand down. Not one flinched. Not one gave explanation. It was a moment of unthinkable royal protocol. The sitting Queen Consort, blocked on royal grounds, by men sworn to protect her. But they weren't protecting her. They were protecting something else. And this wasn't a protest. It was a lockdown, silent, strategic, and deadly serious. The whispers intensified. Why had Camilla been targeted? Who authorized it? Was the king informed? Had William taken control? No official answers came that night, but the truth began surfacing through confidential palace channels. Just hours earlier, a security sweep had been conducted at one of Camilla's privately managed rural estates. It was meant to be routine, standard protocol ahead of scheduled renovations. But what guards found wasn't routine. It was something hidden, something off the record. A concealed chamber, a vault behind a false wall, sealed with outdated keys and older palace encryption tags. It wasn't on any official property blueprint. No royal inventory listed its contents. The chamber had been scrubbed from logs for over a decade. And inside? Unregistered items, files marked private authority, cipher codes, documents bearing royal insignia, but with strange formatting. And one item so confidential it was hand-delivered back to London in an armored car, with no digital record of its movement. That's when the order came down. Camilla's access must be stopped. Immediately. One palace aide put it simply, "You don't block a queen unless you're protecting something bigger than protocol. You block her when you fear what she'll do next." And what the guards found in that hidden vault would trigger a royal crisis no one saw coming. What was discovered? A hidden vault raid. Earlier that same day, a routine security sweep was quietly conducted at a lesser-known estate associated with Queen Camilla. This wasn't a public property or a widely documented royal retreat. It was a private location, often referred to by insiders as off the books, a place that didn't appear on official palace logs. But what the guards found there would change everything. During the sweep, officers noticed an architectural inconsistency in one of the older sections of the estate. A wall slightly misaligned, with signs of recent patchwork. After further inspection, they discovered a hidden door, cleverly built into a panel. Behind it, a sealed room, untouched, unregistered, and completely unauthorized. Inside, officers discovered something explosive. There were documents, encrypted files, cipher keys, and even sealed envelopes bearing the royal insignia. But these weren't filed through proper royal channels. They were kept in isolation, away from palace archives. Among the most alarming finds were security logs, communications transcripts, and a mysterious collection of coded ledgers, some appearing to reference internal palace decisions. Others contained names linked to sensitive royal operations. None of this had ever been declared. Guards on the scene immediately contacted Senior Security Command. Within minutes, the room was classified, sealed again, and its contents placed under restricted royal review. One insider who saw the report described the discovery as unprecedented and deeply disturbing. Another added, "It's not just what was found, but who was keeping it and why it was hidden." By the time the full report reached Prince William's inner circle, the response was swift. Camilla was to be blocked from all high-access areas until further notice. No exceptions, no discussion. And this was just the beginning of a royal crisis that would send shockwaves through the palace. The discovery that shocked the palace. As senior officials reviewed the confiscated contents of the secret vault, shock turned to alarm. Among the sealed documents was something palace aides had never seen before, an unauthorized royal ledger bearing markings that mimicked official symbols, yet deviated in subtle but significant ways. The ledger included entries that appeared to authorize decisions and resource movements, yet bypassed standard royal approval channels entirely. Some of the pages contained names and dates, coded at first glance, but quickly linked to real palace figures, former aides, and discreet contractors previously connected to royal events. What raised the most concern was that some entries suggested direct instructions from Camilla's quarters, issued without King Charles's signature or knowledge. The handwriting was consistent. The tone was commanding. And it didn't take long for internal analysts to conclude these weren't fabricated. They were genuine and had likely been kept hidden for years. One officer close to the investigation reportedly said, "This wasn't just a stash of notes. This was a shadow log, a parallel thread to palace operations." In addition, security found symbols and cipher keys, some dating back to the early 2000s, which hinted at deep-rooted knowledge of internal royal security systems. There were references to transfer protocols, silent authorizations, and even a note about an external channel, a term rarely used outside high-level intelligence briefings. By the time this information reached Prince William, it was clear. This couldn't be dismissed as misunderstanding or poor record-keeping. It had all the signs of a deliberate, strategic concealment. And that's when William made the call that would divide the palace. Camilla was to be restricted, her access to internal meetings suspended, her movement across secure wings of the palace halted. The guards weren't acting out of rebellion. They were executing direct orders based on evidence that something far more serious was unfolding. But behind the iron obedience of the guard line, there was growing tension, not just about Camilla's alleged role, but about loyalty, duty, and which orders to truly follow. Palace Guard. Tension. Following orders versus loyalty. Inside the palace walls, the guards stood firm. But their faces told a different story. For the first time in decades, the Royal Guard, a symbol of discipline and honor, was caught in the middle of a quiet internal war. On one side, direct orders from Prince William's team, backed by new security intel. On the other, a sitting queen, Camilla, standing in disbelief as her own passage through the palace was blocked. Many guards were loyal to the crown, but loyalty in this case was suddenly unclear. Who are we protecting? The throne or the truth? That's the question reportedly whispered between officers in the hours following the lockdown. Some were briefed only minutes before deployment. The information given was minimal. Restricted access. High-priority lockdown. Do not engage. No explanations, no names. Just the weight of an unspoken scandal looming over every command. As word spread inside royal corridors, whispers of manipulation and power play began circulating. Long-serving staff questioned whether they were witnessing the first signs of a constitutional fracture. A moment where titles, roles, and allegiances no longer protected anyone. A previously classified contingency protocol, long shelved since the early 1990s, was suddenly reactivated. It outlined procedures for internal isolation of a senior royal, should they pose a perceived threat to palace integrity. Few ever believed it would be used. Fewer believed it would be used on Camilla. But it was, and the guard line was reset. No exceptions. Camilla could no longer move freely inside the palace. That decision sent shockwaves through royal tradition and directly challenged what it meant to serve the monarchy. And while guards followed orders, the real storm was just beginning behind closed doors, where senior aides, shocked by what had unfolded, were now scrambling to contain a situation no one was prepared for. First palace reactions behind closed doors. As the news of Queen Camilla being blocked by palace guards spread through the upper levels of Buckingham Palace, the atmosphere turned from confusion to controlled panic. Within the hour, senior aides, private secretaries, and top legal advisors were urgently summoned to a closed-door emergency session. For some, this was uncharted territory. Never in recent royal history had a queen consort been physically restricted by palace order. One source described the mood in the room as tense, shocked, and disbelieving. The Queen's restriction didn't just signal an internal scandal, it hinted at a possible constitutional crisis. The most urgent question was, how much should the public be told? Some aides argued for total silence, hoping the situation could be contained before word spread. Others warned that inaction would only invite speculation, and that the press already had wind of the strange movements at the palace. Meanwhile, phones buzzed, rumors were flying, staff were already leaking snippets to journalists. Prince William's team, however, was far from quiet. His advisors demanded a full accounting. How long had the vault existed? Who knew about it? And what systems had failed to detect it? He made it clear, this wasn't just about Camilla. It was about palace integrity. In the meantime, the palace was placed into internal lockdown mode. Access to several wings was frozen. Digital systems were restricted. Staff were asked to surrender personal devices temporarily. It was clear this wasn't just scandal control, it was containment. One insider described the scene. People weren't walking through the palace. They were rushing, whispering, looking over their shoulders. Something had shifted. The monarchy was under siege, from inside its own walls. And while William pressed forward, Camilla's camp wasn't staying silent. Camilla's camp responds. As the Queen Consort faced unprecedented restrictions, her inner circle moved swiftly and strategically. Within hours of being blocked, Camilla's aides issued a firm internal response, pushing back hard against the sudden action. In private messages to senior palace figures, they denied any wrongdoing and described the guard blockade as an overreach of power driven by fear, not facts. Camilla herself, according to close sources, was furious, but composed. She saw the move as a targeted act, an attempt to discredit her using misunderstood or manipulated information. Her long-serving staffers immediately began reviewing security logs, calendar entries, and communications. Anything that could prove the hidden vault had been accessed or discussed before. Their goal? To show transparency and force others to do the same. Behind the scenes, a draft public statement was prepared. While never officially released, it made clear that Queen Camilla had not authorized any secret vault, nor did she ever conceal sensitive royal material. The statement also emphasized her commitment to palace unity, and subtly suggested she was being dragged into political infighting she didn't start. But not everyone in her camp was taking the diplomatic route. Some aides whispered that backdoor palace politics were at play, that William's sudden assertiveness wasn't about justice, but about positioning himself as the true power behind the monarchy. Others claimed the timing of the lockdown wasn't coincidental, but deliberate. More alarmingly, Camilla's legal advisors began circling. They demanded immediate access to the sealed documents and a full explanation for the guard's orders. One legal rep even warned, "If this isn't cleared up soon, we'll go public with everything." The stage was now set for a brutal internal battle, one that was no longer just about secrets. It was now about who controlled the narrative. And just as the palace tried to hold the line, the outside world caught wind of the chaos. And the media did what it always does: explode. Media erupts with breaking headlines. It didn't take long. Within hours of the guard blockade, footage leaked. Grainy cell phone clips of armed guards stationed unusually close to restricted palace wings, their posture rigid, their faces unreadable. One clip in particular showed Camilla's motorcade being halted at a side gate, then quietly rerouted without explanation. That was all the public needed. Headlines exploded. Queen Camilla blocked at Buckingham? Emergency action ordered by Prince William? Royal Vault discovery sparks crisis. The tabloids rolled out back-to-back front-page splashes. Evening broadcasters scrambled to shift their programming, devoting full panels to the mystery unfolding inside the palace. Even international media, from Australia to the US, began covering the story live, speculating whether this could signal the beginning of a deeper royal rift. What made the frenzy worse was the palace's total silence. No statements, no clarifications. And that vacuum was quickly filled with speculation. Royal reporters, eager for anything credible, began quoting unnamed insiders, some of whom hinted at classified materials, unauthorized documents, and even references to dangerous royal knowledge. On social media, the fire spread faster than ever. Twitter feeds erupted with wild theories. TikTok creators posted hour-by-hour breakdowns. One meme compared the palace standoff to a Netflix thriller, House of Windsor, the lockdown edition. Some joked. Others were deeply disturbed. A particularly viral post claimed Camilla had been caught attempting to remove royal artifacts. Completely unconfirmed, but it didn't matter. By then, the story had taken on a life of its own. Even royal family loyalists were stunned. Comment threads overflowed with disbelief. Was the queen consort really involved in something that could threaten the crown? The palace's refusal to confirm or deny only fueled public distrust. And just when the media couldn't speculate more, rumors of a hidden item surfaced, a discovery so bizarre and historic, it reignited every theory imaginable. The hidden item. Rumors of lost hidden crown. It started as a whisper among palace guards, then turned into a storm of speculation across the globe. One shocking claim began circulating, that during the vault raid at Camilla's private estate, guards had stumbled upon a long-lost crown, previously believed to have vanished decades ago. According to palace insiders, this crown wasn't just any artifact. It was said to have belonged to a lesser-known royal lineage, rumored to have been kept hidden after internal disputes in the early 20th century. Its royal insignia, embedded with encrypted markings, matched no known crown in current circulation. Guards who witnessed the discovery described it as perfectly preserved, hidden beneath silk and stone. Others claimed it was accompanied by documents referencing an alternate line of succession, a phrase that would normally be dismissed had the item not been so heavily protected and concealed. Historians, when asked off the record, said the existence of such a piece could rewrite sections of royal history. Some even suggested that Camilla's possession of it raised major constitutional questions. Why was it hidden? Why now? And what did she intend to do with it? Palace tech and legal teams immediately classified all materials related to the crown. Staff were made to sign fresh non-disclosure agreements. Several aides were reassigned or suspended during the internal investigation. Public reaction was explosive. Media outlets ran headlines like, "The Hidden Crown, Royal Mystery, or Cover-Up. Camilla and the secret relic that could shake the throne." Theories spun fast. Was Camilla attempting to consolidate symbolic power? Was this crown tied to a secret family feud? Or worse, was it evidence of a silent power struggle, long buried? Whatever the truth, one thing was certain. This wasn't just about hidden files anymore. This was about legacy, symbolism, and control. And the only person powerful enough to make the next move was Prince William. William's critical decision. Prince William didn't hesitate. The moment the full report of the vault discovery reached his desk, including the hidden documents, encrypted records, and the rumored lost crown, he summoned his most trusted advisors to a high-level crisis council. His first move, a full and immediate review of the discovery. Not just the materials found in Camilla's estate, but every sealed vault, private archive, and classified collection linked to senior royals. For the first time in modern royal history, the prince ordered that all royal properties, no matter whose name was on them, be subject to audit. And more boldly, he took direct command of the guards assigned to the queen consort's protection. They would no longer report to standard palace security. They would report to him. This wasn't a symbolic act. It was a shift in power. William was putting the monarchy's integrity above its titles. He instructed his team to remain silent to the public, for now. But behind the scenes, his message was sharp and clear. We will not allow any hidden truths to endanger the crown again. Camilla, while not publicly condemned, remained under restricted movement. Her access to internal meetings and sensitive materials was still frozen. Legal pressure from her camp continued to mount, but William stood firm. Sources say King Charles was deeply shaken by the internal war erupting inside the palace, but due to health concerns and emotional strain, he allowed William to lead the response. Internally, tensions reached a boiling point. Some senior royals urged resolution and reconciliation. Others warned that more secrets could be exposed if investigations continued. But William didn't blink, because at this point, it wasn't just about Camilla. It was about the credibility of the entire monarchy. And the most dangerous part? This was likely just the beginning. Aftershocks. What this means for the monarchy. The fallout was immediate and still growing. International headlines dominated the news cycle. Queen Camilla blocked by guards, Prince William takes control, and hidden crown sparks royal shockwave became global talking points. Royal watchers, historians, and constitutional experts were all asking the same thing. Has the monarchy crossed a line it can't walk back from? Inside palace walls, the tension remained unrelenting. Staff were divided. Loyalists to William praised his decisive leadership, calling it a necessary stand to protect the institution's future. Others saw it as a dangerous consolidation of power, one that could cause long-term fractures within the royal family. Most importantly, Queen Camilla's public image took a major hit. While no official wrongdoing had been confirmed, the very nature of what had been discovered and how it was hidden left an undeniable stain. Her upcoming appearances were quietly cancelled. Her advisors, once confident and vocal, were now on the defensive. Meanwhile, William pushed for internal palace reforms, stricter protocols, tighter chains of command, and a digital firewall around sensitive information. One senior aide described the effort as a total reset of the royal operating system. But beneath the procedural shakeups, a deeper shift was taking place. Trust had been broken, not just between royals and their staff, but between members of the family itself. The queen consort had been treated like a security threat. And while the public didn't know every detail, they knew one thing for sure. Something big had happened, and someone had something to hide. In private, many now ask, will William reveal everything, no matter the cost? Or will he protect the crown and bury what was found forever? The monarchy stands on a knife's edge, and the next move could change everything. The queen consort being blocked by palace guards wasn't just a headline, it was a historic rupture inside royal walls. What began as a hidden vault led to classified materials, whispers of unauthorized influence, and a royal system shaken from within. Prince William's involvement signals a serious shift in palace power, one where loyalty is no longer assumed and truth must be uncovered. Camilla remains restricted. Internal reviews are underway. And behind the polished facade, trust inside the monarchy has fractured. Was this discovery just the tip of something far bigger? Could more secrets be buried across other royal estates? And most importantly, will William choose to expose it all or protect the legacy at any cost? This isn't over. The crown may appear steady on the outside, but behind closed doors, everything is on edge. And the next revelation could shake the monarchy to its core.